Hello, my name is Václav Ubenheim. I just have one single message to you. It is the most important thing I will ever tell you in my entire life. Never astrally project yourself into Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls. Let me tell you my story. I am 21 years old. I am from town of Krásná in Cheb district of Czech Republic on border with Germany. It is westernmost point of Czech Republic. My mother is a Bavarian Aryan from Germany, and my father was from Domažlice in Chocko. I consider myself perfect Aryan because I have best mixture of R1A and R1B traits. I have A10 eyes and perfect ven-to-white fingernails. I did a haplogroup test and it showed I have a 50-50 exact equilibrium of R1A and R1B. Anyway, I'm not sure if any of that matters, but because I am ESL and always struggled with the typing, the Sharty and Soyburu had always not wanted to accept me. Even though I was fully Aryan like them or whatever, they kept making slopjachs of me and calling me an ugly shitskin. I told them I wasn't, and some of them believed me, but most didn't. However, I did not fight and I always respected them and this belief. Because you need to be vigilant. One day, on 17th of December 2023, a 5'2" obese transgender homeless rapejit that had crossed from the German border broke into my house and got onto my PC. He was high on mushrooms, meth and galaxy gas and started using my PC to search up his favorite Zoocuck rape feed, Has-Been Hotel and Digital Circus AI-generated vomit porn. Goonslop to Guntu. I was at the market buying food and had left tabs of the Soyburu and the Sharty open. He was homeless for years and was without a device to Guntu, besides stealing from random Wi-Fi stops on his cheap, half-broken Android phone. He hallucinated that Soyburu and Sharty was actually his favorite Discord gooning servers and started posting all of his antimatter on all of my accounts. The soy teens thought I was finally showing my true colors and permabanned my IPs on both forever, while also posting their sloppiest sloppyx and TTD copypastas before doing so. This caused the rapejit to egg himself in my house and proceeded to shard and diarrhea all over my PC, which destroyed it. When I came back, I saw my destroyed PC and was so confused. I checked my phone and I saw what had happened and was fucking horrified. After getting rid of the destroyed stuff and burning the rapejit's body, I was depressed and bored for the rest of the week. The soy sphere was my life and now it's gone from me. I didn't want to go on any of those dead nigger websites and dead nigger splinters. I couldn't bear that thought. And I couldn't get a VPN to work on my phone to bypass. I was just about to give up. But then, in March 2024, something amazing happened. I learned about kiwi farms and the Shiwi subsection of Soysphere right there on kiwi farms. Shiwi is a bit different from Soyburu and the Sharty, but are still part of Soysphere. Kiwi farms and Soysphere have some of rivalry, but not to extent of the cack. It turns out that mysteriously, the percentages of T50-eyed raisin skins was marginally higher on the Shiwi, and I was accepted despite ESL typing style. So I became a regular user of Shiwi. I was enthralled to see I still had the Soysphere with me. I also learned about the history of the creation of kiwi farms, Joshua Kummer, Troon, and how much of a Diddy blood he is, as well as his Vanta-white Aryan girlfriend Lidl Drip. I didn't really care about those two, nor the rest of the site, because the rest of the site is SNCA anyway, about some random retard people. I have a life and a job, so I don't care about them documenting whatever autistic retard gets attention, makes a fool out of themselves, or the gag bull culture. I do not care nor are obsessed with their gag bull stupid faggot shit. Anyway, I used the Shiwi for years. It was a good time, but in late 2027 I started to notice some very strange things happening. Instead of the usual mockery of Joshua Kummer Troon and Lidl Drip, things started to change and things started to go in the opposite direction. People stopped using SoySpeak and stopped posting wholesome merino or high-effort gems. They kept mentioning a website called Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls. Many other users mocked them, myself included. But after a few weeks of this, almost every post was shilling Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls and talking about how heckin' much of a Caesar drip is and how Gersh is a literal god. I didn't know what the fuck to do, so as a last resort, I decided to check the website out. It was filled with some of the most ungodly niggerstone goonslop you could imagine. Of characters of FPE, Murder Drones, Zelig, Digital Circus, Vivizi Shit, Deltatron, and whatever the fuck these new Troomcore characters are, I don't even know. Oh my god, what is this shit? What the fuck is that? There was maggot pussy hentai on my screen, suddenly flashing out of nowhere. I panicked and tried to shut it down. Ha 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 ha, a deep demonic voice said. You cannot do this, little Slav roach. You is in big trouble now. I saw the face of Joshua Kummertroon suddenly fill my screen. He had pentagrams in his eyes, spade tattoos, and the Star of David cut and etched into his flesh. My phone started to make strange stuttering noises as the images worsened. I felt it heating up. Then, with a snap and a bright flash of blue and orange, it violently exploded in my hand, and I was blinded from the flash. I remember feeling severe pain on my right hand before blacking out. When I woke up, I was in a mouldy room covered by disgusting yellow-stained walls with cracked drywall and several posters of Troonslop covering the walls. There were gigantic servers, network servers, running equipment and PC towers everywhere. Data channels and wires flowing all over the place, making loud beeping noises. Everything smelled like piss, blood, plastic, cig buds, and vomit. I was in a metal bed, turned upright, bolted down into it with metal reinforcement bars around my ankles and wrists. I looked down and, to my spine-tingling horror, saw that my right hand was gone and was just a stump, kept with a plastic tube, and the wound appeared to be cauterized from where the destroyed flesh was. I tried to struggle, but it was useless. I wouldn't do that if I were you, a woman's voice with a Belgian accent said. I looked up and saw the most attractive woman I had ever seen in my life. She had flowing black hair, a black beanie with the Lidl logo on it, black painted fingernails, and the most beautiful Vanta white clear skin I had ever seen. I looked at her with anger and confusion. Where the fuck am I? Who are you? Why the fuck am I here? I tried to struggle more, but I realized that there were wires connected to my head. I thought they were just taped on there, but then I realized with horror they were directly fed through my skin and into my skull case. You'll damage the neural link if you struggle too much, she said. Why am I even here? I asked her. She just stared at me for a while. I felt really weird and dizzy and realized I must have been out for a very long time prior to waking up. I'm going to send you somewhere, she said and pressed a button on one of the consoles. I felt a horrific pain all over my body and unspeakable things assaulting my mind. The wires in my head glowed green and began to zap my mind. My consciousness flashed with images of pee, Jartiperus masturbating, scat, Troonslop vomit porn, DNB, BMT, all the entire post history of the Jartiburu, Daisy's destruction, every piece of P, DNB and BMT video ever spammed on the Sharty, and other things I cannot even begin to describe. For a brief moment I saw glimpses of nigger hell, before my vision went entirely red and I blacked out again. I felt a strange sense of weightlessness. I woke up in some kind of digital landscape. Everything was a faint green and black color. I looked up above me and saw the words, "Welcome to Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls." With growing dread and horror, I realized I was digitally projected into this antimatter website. Obese niggers, fat Vanta black mud slimes, maximats, piggers and Ukrops, ziggers and various breeds of lesotans were gooning around me. I nervously went up to a zigger and tried to speak with him. I begged him and pleaded how the fuck I was going to leave and get out. But it was like he didn't even recognize me being there. I did the same thing with a group of Vanta black cocks, but it was like I wasn't even there. They all just kept gooning like I did not exist. In a fit of rage, I punched one of them and he still didn't react. All of their eyes glowed green and appeared to be projecting various types of pee into their consciousness directly. So, I began to strangle one of the Meximoots in a fit of complete desperation and rage. Just as Izzy was about to ACK, I was suddenly thrown backwards with a digital green energy and that same demonic laugh. Joshua Coomer Troon suddenly materialized in front of me. I looked up at him with hatred. Stupid little soy cuck, you thought you and your shitty soy troons could defeat my god-tier website, Lalco culture, and laughing at retards on the obsessed faggot Zenforo forum will always be more gooder and Aryan, o algo, I mean, or something. His Amerimot voice occasionally blooped and blipped into a more ESL sounding voice as I heard him, but I thought nothing of it. Jersh then laughed at me. Have fun, little soycock. You're going to be stuck here forever, and soon your website shall fall. It already has fallen, little soy shit. You just have not realized that yet. Just as I was about to attack him, he vanished and dematerialized himself. I screamed and began to cry in a fit of anguish and rage. I was stuck in this brimstone diddy-blued website with all these cucks. I looked around at the green and grey digital landscape and all the sounds of gooning, brapping, and ESL nigger babble. It continued, and it continued. I don't know how long it has been. I can't even remember my name anymore. I can't remember anything except the woman in the room, the machines, and stupid fucking obsessed ass Joshua Coomer Troon. I must have been here for decades by this point, surrounded by billions of gooning shitskins as I wandered this landscape. I was the only one never gooning and not gooning. But I found something. I noticed the collection of particles, data channels, and digital information was feeling thinner in one section after decades of wandering. As I moved further and further, it felt thinner and thinner. The green was turning into a white, and I kept running and running. I felt a horrific pain all over me, and suddenly, I screamed and thrashed. A blue tube opened up around me and sent me hurtling towards an unknown location. I rematerialized in the central information channel of a website. It wasn't Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls anymore. The domain was in fact kiwifarms.net itself. I was still stuck in the digital space, but I finally managed to escape that god-awful website. I could see a large flow of energy concentrating at a single point. Instead of a green and grey color, as would be expected of the Kiwi Farms theming, everything had a pinkish purple tinted hue. There was a throne made of pure energy facing away from me. It swung around, and sitting atop of throne was Joshua Coomer, Troon himself. Jersh looked at me with sadistic and evil smile. You stupid little soycock, you've gone too far. He smiled ominously. Joshua Troon rose from his chair, channeling pink lightning, and sent it down to me. I watched as the pink blast of lightning surrounded me, and I screamed in pain. I was sent backwards. I stood up and looked at Jersh with intense hatred. Behind him, I could see millions of dead lynched babies. What was going on here? Jersh laughed, laughing evilly, his voice distorting violently. He grabbed himself by the skin of his neck and began squishing and crushing it. He peeled it off disgustingly, and the flesh and gore spilled off. He ripped off his face and tore off his fake Ameri-Aryan suit. Underneath him was a muscular, magenta-colored, wholesome Jack. How unfortunate you are too late to save all your little soycuck friends. Joshua Coomer Troon was actually fucking quote this entire time. Heavens to sweet Lord Almighty, what in the pits of nigger hell. Quote explained how, in 1999, he was gooning on some SNCA Japching shit website when he accidentally summoned the Niggerjack and Poopson. Through Niggerjack and Poopson, Satan spoke to him and gave him premonitions of the Soysphere's existence. He was given specific instructions to create the anti-Sharti Christ, and dark matter energy was vested in him from that point forward. It took him years and years to channel it. First, he had to attack the most Aryan man ever created, and one of Jakub's finest creations, one named Christian Weston Chandler. By trolling the shit out of him and making him think he is a troon, he managed to gather enough nigger hellion energy to create a forum, which became the Kiwi Farms in the year 2013, as a website born of pure antimatter, anti-Aryan, anti-Soysphere, and pure nigger hell energy. Kiwi Farms was destined to doom the entire Soyverse. Quote created the fake persona of Joshua Connor Moon, and he planned to infiltrate the Soysphere despite being an off-sitter, and of course he eventually became admin. He is the admin 6. I wanted to absolutely fucking throw up with horror at this fucking revelation. I looked up at Josh, or rather his true name, quote, and screamed at him with rage. And in a moment of intense hatred, I felt my pure Equinox of Vanta White R1b and Vanta White R1i DNA flowing together. My eyes glowed bright blue, and my hair turned a glowing yellow as I screamed with rage and hatred at, quote, I will not allow this to happen. Channeling everything I had in this simulation, I screamed and thrashed as I raged. I fired the Vanta White Tanzanite supernova at him, and he screamed in pain. The entire simulation began to crash and sputter. It began to disintegrate around me. My entire consciousness was overwhelmed with pain, but I didn't care. I wanted this to end. I blacked out for a final time, and I awoke on one of those metal beds again. I opened my eyes. I felt heavier than usual. I blinked, trying to regain focus of the world around me. I was back in one of those moldy rooms I had seen God knows how many years ago. The bindings on the torture bed were much weaker and rusted this time, and I managed to break them off. With great pain, I tore the neural wires out from the ceiling. They were no longer functional, but still linked beneath my skin, into my skull cap. Leaving half sockets of ripped wire there, I didn't care though. I just wanted to know what the fuck is going on. I stumbled for a bit, and I remembered everything that happened prior. The demonic website, the exploding phone, the weird woman, the mind upload. I looked down and saw that my hand, which should be blown off, was still there. That's weird, but I didn't dwell on it. I needed to make sure I wasn't just in another simulation or something. I walked around and saw more consoles and the sheer size of this creepy place. It was absolutely massive. I left the small room with the consoles and bed and entered some kind of gigantic hub. There were pipes with flowing purple energy going everywhere. The place looked like some kind of steampunk tranologue horror nightmare troonslop indie game. But it was fucking real. I wanted to fucking piss myself in terror. I saw many obese shitskins that looked just like hunky twink sex machine guarding the place, except they were wearing green and black shirts. I looked through a few windows and saw many others that suffered the same fate as me, hooked up into the machines, as well as the occasional room of some group of millennial old fags being obsessed, circle-jerking, ass-kissing Jersh, who they are unaware is, quote, and making plots about taking down the Sharti. I was planning on knocking out one of those fatasses and taking their guns, but I was feeling weaker and more winded than usual. It must be because of the sheer amount of time I was spent hooked up into the simulation, so I waited for the stupid fatas to get distracted. One of the HTSM lookalikes pulled out his phone and began seething about some SNCA. He babbled loudly that his SNCA, Zenfro drama form, was superior, and how heckin' fundamental paper education, 345th blacked BBC, New World Order edition, is less interesting than fundamental paper education, 298th diaper edition was. If there are that many versions of that fucking troonslop shit, I realized with growing horror I must have been knocked out and in that simulation for much, much longer than I thought. As he was distracted and had the gun on the floor behind him, I grabbed it and ran off into a staircase. I needed to find where Quote's human mortal body would be. He has to be accessing that same simulation from somewhere, the same way I had been doing when forced into that god-awful machine. Eventually, after much sneaking, I found a large master control room which led into a gigantic glowing magenta room. I could see a large, hyper-advanced neural system the size of a large plane with a fat Vanta brown shitskin connected to it. His mind linked up to it with glowing magenta wires. Gig! Holy shit, is that what Quote actually looks like? I was about to shoot him, but I heard the voice of a Belgian accented void speak up. I turned to my side and saw that same woman I saw ages ago, as if she never changed at all. I promptly realized this was Little Drip. How the fuck does a fat Vanta black ugly mud slime like Quote convince a Vanta white Belgian Aryan Sisa like this to be with him? I'm sure she knew all along that the Joshua Coomer Troon persona was a fake psyop. I smirked and chuckled. Hey Foyd, aren't you supposed to be the #1 Moid hater? Hater of all the disgusting Moids and shitskin Moids? Why are you with an ugly shitskin? Geg. She looked at me evilly. Over her shoulder she slung a body and threw it onto the floor in front of me. I saw the body of a buff Slavarian laying on the floor with a bullet hole in his head. And with horror and confusion, I realized it was my own body. She then pulled out a mirror. As I looked into the mirror, I saw the fattest, blackest, ugliest man I ever seen in my life. I looked down at my Vanta White R1B and R1A Aryan hands. I watched them flicker and flicker. No, they were flickering from white to Vanta black and obese. No, I realized. The simulation hadn't placed me back in my original body. It shoved me into a different host, one that looked suspiciously like Hunky Twink Sex Machine. Drip then proceeded to end the life of my original Aryan body. So I wasn't an A10 Slavo-Germanic Chad anymore. I was now fucking stuck as an ugly shitskin forever because of her. I screamed with angry shitskin moid rage. Shit, Mufuga, how you do me like this and shit, nigga shit. I fired the Shiwicuck branded Glock at her. The first bullet struck her in the left abdomen, the second in the stomach. She convulsed and sputtered unnaturally, making noises that sounded like a broken appliance. She spat out a milky white liquid and continued having a seizure, slowly sinking to the floor onto her back, before laying completely still and lifeless. I stared in confusion, before I released with growing relief that she was some kind of synthetic humanoid this entire time. No wonder that's the case. No real actual Vanta White Aryan goddess would want to be with Quote the ugly shitskin. Anyway, I stepped over the body of the destroyed Foyd android and looked up at Quote's machine, ready to end this. To my horror, I realized he was gone. I looked to my left and saw a giant purple portal. It was open. The stupid mutt must have realized I was here because of all the shooting, and he managed to have enough time to waddle his fat ass into the portal before I could figure out where the portal went. A group of HTSM fat asses with shotguns sprinted into the room and began taking pot shots at me. I needed to run away now. I managed to hop through the portal as it was closing. However, it ended up glitching out because of this. I saw a brief glimpse of where Quote had escaped to. I saw it. I saw Nigger Hell. Glimpses of the Nigger Hellian underworld. I could see Quote conversing with Poopson and Nigger Jack. I couldn't see him, but I even felt the presence of Satan himself. But the machine glitched due to its closing before it could fully send me through. I watched its clock run down and eventually it struck the date. 17th of December, 2023. I blinked as I was teleported back to my room on that day in 2023. I breathed heavily. I looked in the mirror and saw my brand new, ugly, shit-skin self, I breathed heavily, grasping my grease-stained shirt. I remember this was the day that Jeet shat on my PC and set all these events on motion. I still had the shitty little Glock in my hands, so when the Jeet barged into my room, I shot him. I then sprinted my PC and opened up WordPad and began writing down everything that just happened to me. I am going to upload this to the Sharti, the Soy Buru, but not Kiwi Farms. Everyone needs to know the truth about Joshua Connor Moon. Joshua Connor Moon is quote. I repeat, quote is admin 6, and he and Josh Moon are the same person. Poopson and Niggerjack are coming. The end is near. The website Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls is where they are generating all their nigger hellion energy. Do not ever astral project into Shiwicuckgooningfun.Autism.Ls.